When the old wood collector arrived at the auction, people smiled. While everyone else was choosing bright, new timber, he stood quietly beside a pile the world called junk. Broken beams, warped planks wood worn down by time. He didn't buy wood, he bought possibility. In his small workshop, no machines made noise. There was no rush, just sunlight coming through the window, the scent of sawdust floating in the air, and the steady movement of his hands. He never forced the wood, he understood it. Every knot, every crack told the story of a past life. His saw moved only where the grain showed the way. He didn't place the pieces in a straight line. He shifted them slightly because he knew that sometimes balance is born from imbalance. The glue was applied slowly, ropes replaced clamps. Round after round, layers kept settling and the form revealed itself naturally. When it was time for the tabletop, his pace changed. Now it wasn't emotion, precision mattered. Every groove, every joint was first drawn on paper. No guessing, no room for mistakes. The outer ring was like the gear of an old clock, interlocked, strong, and balanced. Thin wooden strips slid into their slots and a calm geometric pattern began to emerge. 2 full days were spent on this alone so that not even a single line would go astray. Then came the colored deep red, diamond-shaped pieces of wood were placed one by one like setting gemstones into a crown. He stepped back and looked in for a few moments. Even he fell silent. It didn't look built, it looked discovered. In the end, the edges were shaped. Using a foot-powered saw, he carved wave-like curves. Sawdust flew like sea spray. Then he sanded by hand until the surface became so smooth that fingers simply glided over it. He had said, "I want this table to be so beautiful that no one dares to cover it." For the finish there were no machines, only a brush and time. With the first coat, the wood came alive with the second and third coats. It gained the feeling of an heirloom. When the work was finished, he didn't move the table. It stayed right there to live in that moment. A little later, a friend arrived and asked, "Is this really that same scrap wood?" He didn't reply, he simply placed 2 cups of tea on the table. The cups didn't move, the table didn't wobble. Some creations introduce themselves not with words, but with silence. Be sure to tell us in the comments, from 1 to 100, how many points would you give this creation, and don't forget to drop your number.